I announced our pregnancy at my brother's wedding after he proposed at mine. My brother Jake has always been the center of attention. Growing up, he was the star football player, homecoming king, the kid everyone loved. I was just his quiet little sister who got decent grades and stayed out of trouble. When I got engaged to my boyfriend Mark last year, I was so excited to finally have my moment. We'd been together for 4 years, and I dreamed about our wedding since I was little. My parents helped us plan this beautiful ceremony at the local community center with white flowers everywhere and my grandmother's vintage dress that I'd been saving. Everything was perfect until the reception. We'd just finished our first dance, and people were starting to eat dinner when Jake stood up with his wine glass. I thought he was going to give a sweet brother of the bride speech like we'd talked about. Instead, he got down on one knee right there in front of everyone and proposed to his girlfriend Emma. She started crying and screaming yes while our entire wedding reception turned into their engagement party. Everyone forgot about me and Mark and rushed over to congratulate them. My photographer even stopped taking pictures of us to capture their moment. My own wedding cake got pushed aside so people could toast their engagement. Jake gave this long speech about how seeing Mark and me so happy inspired him to take the next step with Emma. I was devastated. This was supposed to be my day, the one day that was about me and Mark starting our life together, but Jake couldn't let me have it. He had to make it about him like always. When I tried to talk to him later, he said I was being dramatic and that it was actually romantic how our family was growing. My parents sided with him, saying it made the day even more special to have two happy couples. Mark was furious, but tried to keep the peace since it was our wedding night. We ended up leaving our own reception early because nobody was paying attention to us anymore. They were all too busy planning Jake and Emma's engagement party. 3 months later, Mark and I found out I was pregnant. We were over the moon excited and decided to wait until the 12-week mark to tell everyone. Jake's wedding was happening right around that time, and I saw my opportunity. Jake and Emma went all out for their wedding. They rented this fancy country club, had a live band, and invited like 200 people. During the reception, right after they cut their cake, I asked the DJ for the microphone. I stood up and gave this beautiful speech about how much I loved my brother and how happy I was for him and Emma. Everyone was getting emotional and taking pictures. Then I dropped the bomb. I said that Mark and I wanted to share our own exciting news on this special day, just like Jake had done at our wedding. I announced that we were 12 weeks pregnant and expecting our first baby in the spring. The room erupted in cheers and congratulations. Everyone rushed over to hug me and Mark, asking questions about due dates and whether we knew the gender yet. The photographer started taking pictures of us while Emma stood there looking stunned. Jake's face went bright red. He came over and whispered angrily that this was his wedding day and I was stealing his thunder. I smiled sweetly and said I learned from the best and that it was actually romantic how our family was growing. My parents were torn between being excited about becoming grandparents and being annoyed that I'd overshadowed Jake's big moment. But what could they say? They'd supported him doing the exact same thing to me. The rest of the reception became about baby talk and pregnancy advice. People kept coming up to me asking about nursery plans and baby names. Emma looked like she wanted to cry, but she couldn't say anything without looking like a hypocrite. Jake tried to get the attention back by having the band play their special song, but half the guests were still crowded around me and Mark discussing baby stuff. Their wedding photographer ended up taking more pictures of us than the actual bride and groom. When we left that night, Jake pulled me aside and said he finally understood how I felt at my wedding. He apologized for stealing my moment and admitted he'd been selfish. Emma even came over and congratulated us properly, saying she was excited to be an aunt. My parents realized they'd been unfair to me and helped throw us an amazing baby shower a few months later. Jake and Emma were there cheering us on, and Jake gave a speech about how excited he was to be an uncle. Our daughter was born healthy and perfect, and Jake absolutely adores being her uncle. He learned his lesson about sharing the spotlight, and I got my revenge served ice cold at his own wedding.